So you have aced all your preliminary interviews and you are down to the last and final interview. And this round is usually where applicants fail to deliver. And you would ask, what are the questions that most applicants fail to comprehensively answer? I am glad you asked because today I will go ahead and briefly provide you these questions and provide you a structure on how to answer these questions. So before I provide the top five final interview questions applicants usually fail to answer comprehensively, I hope that you can go ahead and subscribe, continue to support my channel so that we can go ahead and reach a lot of people who needs this specific contents. So I also have videos on preliminary or initial interviews that I will go ahead and also include after these videos so that you're able to also see the structure of the application. So what are we waiting for? Let's go ahead and dive into these five questions that are very critical when it comes to the final interview. The first question is, how do you handle complex problems that others struggle with? So basically it is going to, give you an opportunity to provide your skills, skills that most of the applicants don't have. So you need to make sure that you first break down the problem into smaller components. Second is applying a multidisciplinary perspective and critical thinking. And of course, a conclusion to collaborate with experts and people in the company if you are being hired. So you can go ahead and answer it this way. I approach complex problems by first breaking them down into smaller, more manageable components. So this specific first line, makes the will surely make the interviewer feel like this guy is very organized, right? So this allows me to understand the fundamental aspects of the issue and identify potential points of failure. So this comes the critical thinking. So you are basically giving the interviewer or the employer your skills through the answers that you're giving, right? So basically you can say that I then apply a multidisciplinary perspective, leveraging my knowledge across various fields to explore solutions that may not be immediately apparent to others. So this will, really impress the specific interviewer or the employer because you have this specific skill wherein you are asking or you are learning new knowledge that will allow you to stand out among all the applicants. Question number two. What strategies do you use to ensure client satisfaction? So, this is a very important question to answer because you are basically dealing with the client. How can you make sure that the client that you are working with is satisfied at the end of the day? So, you need to craft the answer by starting with, of course, ensuring that you are able to understand the client's needs through active listening and probing questions. Second is you need to craft a tailored strategy. So this is already your strategical skills, wherein you are giving the strategies in maintaining a transparent communication. And you can conclude by exceeding expectations and anticipating challenges for you to be more comprehensive. So you can answer it this way. Ensuring client satisfaction begins with a deep understanding of the client's needs and pain points. I prioritize active listening and asking probing questions to ensure that I understand what's the vision and what my client needs. From there, I can craft a tailored strategy that align with their goals, incorporation of both innovative ideas and proven methodologies. So by giving this answer, it is structured in a way that you first need to make sure that you understand the client, provide the strategy, and ensure that you are exceeding expectations. Third final interview question is, can you give an example of how you've impressed a client or solved a difficult problem? So this is a question wherein you are being given a situation. So again, the way to answer it is to structure it in a very famous, structure, which is the STAR method. STAR method: S means situation, T task, A is action, R is results. So you answer it by first giving the client facing, issues, which is the situation. So you can go ahead and say that, one particular instance that, that I had was when my client was facing a problem during a product launch. That is the situation. So T, which is task, so you can go ahead and, provide the task that you are given, which is: I assess and resolve the issue, and what is the action that you took. I propose a streamlined workflow and introduce predictive analytics. So, in this specific part of the answer, you need to make sure that the action is specific. Okay, specific. What are the action that you've taken? Specific actions that you've taken to resolve the issue. And the last part is the result. So, what is the result of your action? And you can say that the product launch ahead of schedule, impressing the client. So, usually on this specific kind of questions, what is being gauged is your problem solving and crisis management skills, analytical thinking, client satisfaction, and project management skills. So, you need to make sure that you're able to use the STAR method. Fourth question that is usually being asked on the final interview is: how do you stand out in a team setting, especially when working with other highly skilled professionals? So, this is a very, very tricky question because you can go ahead and fail by just, answering this differently. So what does that mean? Because this specific question will actually gauge your values, if your values is fit with the company. So you need to make sure that you're able to answer it in a way that you are giving, your skills. You are basically impressing the client with your skills, but you still need to make sure that there is humility still. So you can go ahead and start it by making sure that there is a combination of your expertise with collaboration. So, in a team setting, I stand out by combining my deep expertise with the collaborative spirit of the team. So, basically, you're highlighting your experience, but also ensuring that you are being collaborative, you are being a team player still. So you can go ahead and also add insights by encouraging innovative solutions. And you can conclude by balancing leadership and active listening. So again, this is a very, very tricky question because this will actually assess if your values is fit with the company. And now we are down to our last and final question. Again, guys, before I go ahead and provide you the last question, please subscribe to my channel and you can go ahead and, watch other videos that I uploaded regarding job applications, interviews, and, the skills that you need to make sure that you're able to have the executive presence. So the final question is: how do you ensure effective communication with your clients or team members when working remotely? So this is a very, very common question, especially if you are working from home, because it will gauge your integrity, it will gauge your, being responsible while working from home, because no one is going to, look after you, right? So you need to make sure that you can craft an answer that will build trust to the employer. So you can go ahead and start by making sure that you feel like, you always say that effective communication is important because you need to communicate all the time what you're doing. If you have issues, if you have concerns, communication, seamless communication is the tool, especially in a remote work. Second is setting clear expectations and using, preferred channels. So you need to have this specific expectations. You need to have these expectations between you and your client and your employer as to how you would communicate and when do you usually communicate. And you can conclude by tailoring communication by being proactive. Being proactive means you are not being asked. You basically raise issues that could affect the company or the business. So those are the five top final interview questions, and I hope that this will help you ace your final interview. It is going to be a little difficult on the specific stage because this is already the stage where they will deliberate if you will be hired or not. but I'm hoping that you could be able to, ace the interview, whether you get accepted or not. Always believe in yourself and always believe that there is a place for you in the industry. Thank you. And again, you can go ahead and subscribe to our ideas we're sharing and have a blessed one, everyone.